Hey guys, it's TriStar Pictures 82 back again, and for this video I'm going to be doing a Blu-ray review. Now, I don't necessarily do DVD and Blu-ray reviews of particular movies, but because I'm pretty excited about this particular Blu-ray that I just got, I'm going to go ahead and do a whole review of it, and that is Giorgio Moroder Presents Metropolis on Blu-ray. Giorgio Moroder's 1984 restoration of Fritz Langs Metropolis, this Blu-ray was released by Kino Video, Kino had also distributed a bunch of other classic silent films such as The General and The Thief of Baghdad and all those other good classics. But yeah, and they had also put out another edition of Metropolis, which you guys are probably already familiar of, which is the complete Metropolis on Blu-ray and DVD. But yeah, they had also just recently put out the 1984 Giorgio Moroder version of Fritz Lang's Metropolis. Now, this just recently came out on Blu-ray last month, on the 15th, about a year since the complete Metropolis came out on Blu-ray, which was also released by Kino. Now, I had been through like sort of a hell to find this on Blu-ray, like the week it came out, because I've checked a whole bunch of stores in my area. I checked Walmart, I checked Target, I checked Best Buy, and even Electronic Fries didn't have this Blu-ray. So yeah, since then I had no luck finding this on Blu-ray, and I thought I was gonna have to like resort to just buying this online, and waiting like a week or two to for it to get delivered. But yeah, it wasn't until recently when I just walked into Best Buy to like look at some Blu-rays, as usual, find any Blu-ray I want to add to my collection. But yeah, as I was looking through the Blu-rays, like at the M's section, sitting right next to the complete Metropolis on Blu-ray, surprisingly, I found this sitting right next to it at Best Buy. There are like 3 copies of this sitting on the shelves, and because I was so surprised to finally see this, I went ahead and picked one of these up. Alright, now I'm going to give a little backstory about Metropolis. Metropolis was a German silent film that was made in 1926, and it premiered in Berlin in 1927. Now, Metropolis is considered one of the granddaddies of sci-fi films because this film has been the inspiration for a bunch of other sci-fi classics released after this movie, like movies such as 2001: A Space Odyssey, Blade Runner, and even Star Wars and all that stuff. But yeah, Fritz Lang's Metropolis, it's this silent film that takes place in the future, approximately like 100 years to the year this film was made, in 2026, in this futuristic town named Metropolis. And it's about this mad scientist that transforms this girl into this robot he created, and it causes destruction and all that stuff. But yeah, now for the futuristic aspects of this movie, being a 1920s silent film, well, there's only like maybe a few amount of stuff in this movie that looks more futuristic than like modern time, like today, like such as maybe the Babel Tower. The Babel Tower is pretty awesome, it looks huge and stuff, so that's pretty cool how they did that. But there's some other stuff like for instance, they still have like 20s looking cars and airplanes and all that stuff, and there's maybe a few other stuff that even today looks more futuristic than in this movie, being the fact that this film takes place in 2026. But it was the 1920s. I guess it's the best they could come up with and all that stuff. So yeah, it doesn't seem to bother me that much. Now, for many years and years since Metropolis had been premiered in 1927, this movie had been almost forgotten about until, decades later when there were re-releases of Fritz Lang's Metropolis. And the first one, I believe, was in back somewhere in the 70s where BBC premiered Fritz Lang's Metropolis with a techno score in it, But yeah, and then a few years afterwards, like from 1981 to 1984, this techno music artist by the name of Giorgio Moroder, which he was also known for a bunch of other techno scores, such as from Scarface and The Neverending Story and all those other good films. Well, anyways, he decided to make his own restoration of Fritz Lang's Metropolis. Adding like a few color tints to the picture in it, and a few other bonus footage that was found at the time. Because the thing with the bonus footage of Metropolis is that since Metropolis premiere in 1927, some of the footage from the film had been cut and was supposed to be like destroyed. However, it still existed, but it just was it was extremely rare and hard to find. And so yeah, but I'll get to more about that later. But however, some of the footage had been recovered at the time of this movie, but still most of it was pretty much lost and all that stuff. But I'll get to more of that when I come to the complete Metropolis Blu-ray thing. But yeah, but other than adding a few color tints to this movie, Giorgio Moroder also put it in some techno scores that he did for this movie, and not only his own techno music, but a bunch of 80s pop and rock music from artists such as Freddie Mercury and Pat Benatar and Adam Ant, and Bonnie Tyler. Giorgio invited all those artists to put their own songs for this movie. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So if you're a fan of 80s pop and techno and rock music, then you'll find this version of Metropolis pretty interesting. I mean, I think the 80s pop and rock music go pretty well with this movie. It makes this film enjoyable to watch, and it makes it kind of tells the story a bit and all that stuff. But despite the fact of this being a 20s silent film, and silent films usually have like or orchestral music played over it and all that stuff, like mainly like 20s silent films that have orchestral music, because early silent films kind of like have the piano songs in it. But because this movie takes place in the future, I think it's kind of reasonable to have more modern 80s pop and rock music in it. So yeah, it's still enjoyable to watch, in my opinion. Now, Giorgio Moroder's version of Metropolis, this was distributed theatrically in 1984 by PSO, which was an independent film label in the 80s, which standed for Producers Sales Organization, which they had also worked with 20th Century Fox and TriStar Pictures on a few films. But yeah, well, after its theatrical release, it was distributed on VHS and Laserdisc by Vestron Video. But yeah, but since Vestron's VHS and Laserdisc release of Giorgio Moroder's Metropolis, this version has been out of print and has never been re-released on VHS or DVD. It missed most of the DVD era. But despite this version being out of print, some other versions came after this one, including the mostly known 2001 re-restoration of Metropolis, which that version had better quality picture, and some of the lost footage was found at the time, and they've added that into the movie, and the orchestral score that was from the original premiere. But yeah, and the 2001 restoration of Metropolis was also put out by Kino, and then 9 years later, in 2010, came the complete Metropolis, which Kino had released on DVD and Blu-ray, which was the first time Metropolis was introduced onto Blu-ray. Now, the complete Metropolis, it's almost the same thing as the 2001 version, except this time they found the rest of the lost footage that they didn't find beforehand, and they've added that into the film, and now basically that version shows the entire Metropolis how Fritz Lang intended it to be since its premiere in 1927. But yeah, and including the orchestral score that was in the premiere is on the complete Metropolis. Now, another thing about the lost footage of Metropolis, the kind of camera that was used for it was a pretty crappily treated camera, because the lost footage, it's shown in like lines and all that stuff, like something scratched it up or something. But yeah, and the picture's really not that clear at all or something. But yeah, but still, as long as the footage is in the movie, it's pretty much complete. I mean, they did some restoration to it, but yeah, as long as it's in there, it's pretty much considered complete as it is. Now, despite this version of Metropolis being out of print for such a long time, this version had gained a cult favorite among many, including those who grew up with this version and was introduced to Metropolis by this version, because a lot of people had been introduced to Fritz Lang's Metropolis through Giorgio Moroder's version, and throughout the years, since it had never been re-released and all that stuff, there had been a couple of petitions and stuff to get this version released onto DVD and all that stuff, but finally Kino had gained the rights to Giorgio Moroder's version and had answered all of everyone's petitions and finally released this version on DVD and Blu-ray for all those of us who are fans of this version, and now we can finally own this on DVD and Blu-ray. So yeah, this is pretty exciting news for those of us who are fans of this version and fans of Metropolis itself, But yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this Blu-ray release of Metropolis. And now I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my Blu-ray player and see how it looks. So yeah. Alright, before I put it into my PS3, I'm gonna go ahead and show this to you guys up close. Anyways, here's the cover right here. It's pretty cool. There's the cover art which was used in the trailer, and the promotional posters and the VHS release. You see you got the robot right here in gold, and there's the Metropolis logo in red. So that's pretty awesome. Anyways, here's the side. There's Maria right there after being transformed into the robot. So that's cool. And yep, there's the back right there. So, yep. And there's the Blu-ray case itself, same cover art. And when I open it up, look at that. Alright, here you got the complete track list of the music that's played in this version, so this is pretty cool, and that right there is a scene from the Legend of Babel scene from the movie. But yeah. And here's the Blu-ray disc itself, you know. I mean, the Metropolis logo on this Blu-ray disc, it looks a little too cartoonish, but it's good for what it is. But yeah. And if I pull this out, hold on. So, there you go. See, you got the background right there, which is pretty awesome. You know, there's the workers stuff, so yep, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in and see how it looks. Alright, so there's the menu right there. Pretty awesome. You know, you got the music playing in the background. See, it's right there. Giorgio Moroder Presents Metropolis. And there's the menu right here. So you got, there's chapters, extra, audio, and then the credits. But I'm gonna go ahead and press play to show you guys the opening. Okay. Kino Classics. The year is 2026, a Dickensian best of times, worst of times, where total oppression and manipulation of Far below the city of Metropolis is the underground city where machines are operated by the workers who live even further below. Day after day in mechanical routine, they are forced to the limits of human endurance. Fritz Lang made this film in 1926 against the wishes. The film was subsequently shortened for its American release, which left the story disjointed, difficult to comprehend, and caused the loss of many scenes, most of which are possible to find. By following the original script, the novel of the film recently discovered missing pieces of the film and photographs. Metropolis has been restored as close to its original conception as possible. Metropolis is now presented with a contemporary score, sound effects, and color. Lang once said, "To begin with, I should say that I am a visual person. I experience with my eyes, and never or only rarely with my ears, to my constant regret." Giorgio Moroder presents Fritz Langs. There you go. Metropolis. And that is the Blu-ray opening. Alright, here's a scene of the Eternal Gardens. Now, as you can tell, it's nothing like the complete Metropolis where, you know, the picture is in HD and, you know, the bunch of missing footage is in that version, but, can't you live with the little inaccuracy sometime? But, whatever. There you go. However, this looks a bit more clear than the VHS and Laserdisc version of Giorgio Moroder's Metropolis, so you know, it's still pretty good. Pat Benatar's Here's My Heart.
Well, there you have it.
So, to conclude this video, if you're a fan of 80s rock and techno music and pop music, or if you're a fan of Metropolis itself, then I recommend picking this up. Even though, as a Metropolis fan, if you may or may not like this version because of the differences with the complete Metropolis and all that, it's still a good Blu-ray disc to add to your collection, because it's got the original cover art from the trailer of the from back in 1984 for Giorgio Moroder's Metropolis, and the theatrical poster and the cover art for the VHS and Laserdisc. You got the robot right here and the Metropolis logo in red, the original logo, from the 1927 premiere. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And aside from the movie itself, this Blu-ray disc also has a couple of other bonus features, like the fading image produced by Giorgio Moroder in 1984, which this is a rarely seen documentary about behind the scenes of the restoration of this movie and stuff. And yeah, and it also includes a gallery and a personal message from Giorgio Moroder himself. So yeah, now I just recently got this at Best Buy, because they just now just got this since its original release like a month ago. So yeah, I'm not sure if you guys may or may not be able to find this in your area. You probably may have to resort to buying it online, but I wish you guys luck finding this, because it's a really good Blu-ray to add to your collection. Fan of Metropolis, or you're a Blu-ray collector in general, or you love the 1980s and all that stuff. Now, for those of you who live in the PAL region in Europe, well, this Blu-ray release isn't necessarily available in you guys' region as of now, but I had heard that they had already worked on a limited edition steelbook for the complete Metropolis, the other version, put out by Kino. So chances are they may put out one for this version, and I hope so, because you guys probably deserve this more than we do, because of the fact that Metropolis was made in Germany, in you guys' region. So yeah, hopefully sometime in the future they will plan to release this Blu-ray in you guys' region as well. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for the Blu-ray release of Giorgio Moroder's Metropolis, and I will be back with more videos later. This is TriStar Pictures 82 signing off. Bye.